I'm Elon Musk, CEO/CTO of Rocket Company. Ask me anything. Zip2, PayPal, SpaceX, Tesla and Solar City. Started off doing software engineering, and now do aerospace and automotive. Looking forward to your questions. Brief question here from someone that is interested. SpaceX's current strategy revolves mostly around old-style rockets, even if they are now approaching complete reusability. Grasshopper Ox. Has SpaceX looked into hybrid craft like the Sabre program happening in the UK, or look into the possibility of a space elevator, even at a thought experiment stage, in the way that Google and NASA have done? Thanks for doing this Ask Me Anything. If you want to get to orbit or beyond, go with pure rockets. It is not like Von Braun and Korolev didn't know about airplanes, and they were really smart dudes. Mr. Musk, how will you secure the first stage of the Falcon 9 to the barge when it lands? Gravity or some mechanism? Mostly gravity. The center of gravity is pretty low for the booster, as all the engines and residual propellant is at the bottom. We are going to weld steel shoes over the landing feet as a precautionary measure. What daily habit do you believe has the largest positive impact on your life? Showering. Hi Ellen. A friend of mine is all paranoid about the computer singularity and used your name as a source of his paranoia. Don't you think it could all be a bunch of hype? Or some car/rocket/etc stuff you do? Huge fan. The time frame is not immediate, but we should be concerned. There needs to be a lot more work on AI safety. And, with all due respect to the Roomba dude, that is not a concern. I'm kind of giddy and starstruck, but I'm more completely at a loss that the guy that owns Tesla, the guy that owns a company that is putting a rocket into space tomorrow, just sent me a video of a cat riding a Roomba chasing a duck. What just happened? I was having the worst day, and now everything seems alright. Heck yeah. Previously, you've stated that you estimate a 50% probability of success with the attempted landing on the automated Spaceport drone ship tomorrow. Can you discuss the factors that were considered to make that estimation? In addition, can you talk more about the grid fins that will be flying tomorrow? How do they compare to maneuvering with cold gas thrusters? I pretty much made that up. I have no idea. The grid fins are super important for landing with precision. The aerodynamic forces are way too strong for the nitrogen thrusters. In particular, achieving pitch trim is hopeless. Our atmosphere is like molasses at Mach 4. Can you help me with Kerbal space program? Hi Ellen, I currently work for Toyota Tsusho in Fremont doing the wheel assembly for Tesla. I want to let you know how proud I'm to be however minutely linked to such a powerful and positively influential company such as yours. Keep doing the good work, sir. You are an inspiration to not only myself, but countless others around the world. My question, you seem to have had to deal with a tremendous amount of adversity in a few of your ventures. Do you have any advice for those dealing with seemingly insurmountable adversity? There is a great quote by Churchill, if you're going through hell, keep going. TLDR. How do you learn so much so fast? Lots of people read books and talk to other smart people, but you've taken it to a whole new level. It seems you have an extremely proficient understanding of aerospace engineering, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, software engineering, all various disciplines, avionics, power electronics, structural engineering, propulsion, energy storage, AI, etc nearly all things technical. I know you've read a lot of books, and you hire a lot of smart people, and soak up what they know, but you have to acknowledge you seem to have found a way to pack more knowledge into your head than nearly anyone else alive. Do you have any advice on learning? How are you so good at it? I do kinda feel like my head is full. My context switching penalty is high and my process isolation is not what it used to be. Frankly, though, I think most people can learn a lot more than they think they can. They sell themselves short without trying. One bit of advice, it is important to view knowledge as sort of a semantic tree. Make sure you understand the fundamental principles, i.e. the trunk and big branches, before you get into the leaves/details, or there is nothing for them to hang on to. In your recent MIT talk, you mentioned that you didn't think second stage recovery was possible for the Falcon 9. This is due to low fuel efficiency of kerosene fuel and the high velocities needed for many payloads, higher orbits like geostationary orbit. However, you also said that full reusability would be possible for the Mars Colonial Transporter launch vehicle. What have you learned from flights of Falcon 9 that taught you that reuse of its second stage won't be possible, and B. What you'll need to do differently with MCT to reuse its second stage? Actually, we could make the second stage of Falcon reusable and still have significant payload on Falcon Heavy, but I think our engineering resources are better spent moving on to the Mars system. MCT will have meaningfully higher specific impulse engines. 380 vs 345 vac ISP. For those unfamiliar, in the rocket world, that is a super gigantic difference for stages of roughly equivalent mass ratio, mass full to mass empty. I'm a teacher, and I always wonder what I can do to help my students achieve big things. What's something your teachers did for you while you were in school that helped to encourage your ideas and thinking? Or, if they didn't, what's something they could have done better? Thanks. The best teacher I ever had was my elementary school principal. Our math teacher quit for some reason and he decided to sub in himself for math and accelerate the syllabus by a year. We had to work like the house was on fire for the first half of the lesson and do extra homework, but then we got to hear stories of when he was a soldier in WWII. If you didn't do the work, you didn't get to hear the stories. Everybody did the work. Hi Ellen, I'm already saving up for my Model 3. Can you share anything about the Model 3 that we don't already know? It won't look like other cars. Hello Ellen, huge fan here. Question about the Mars Colonial Transporter. There has been a lot of speculation over comments about exactly how much mass you are hoping to send to the Martian surface with the MCT. Can you tell us how much cargo you would like to be able to land on Mars with MCT, not including the mass of the MCT itself? Goal is 100 metric tons of useful payload to the surface of Mars. This obviously requires a very big spaceship and booster system. Emily Shanklin indicated in late 2013 that the Raptor would be the first of a family of engines designed for the exploration and colonization of Mars. Could you elaborate on her wording? That is, was she simply referring to a vacuum version and standard version? Or do you plan on building multiple methane-based engines with significantly different thrust and size specifications? Default plan is to have a sea level and vacuum version of Raptor, much like Melon. Since the booster and spaceship will both have multiple engines, we don't have to have fundamentally different designs. This plan might change. Its spaceship capabilities question second. According to your RIAC presentation, the ITS spaceship has a V budget of 7.5 km/s when returning from Mars to Earth, with 150 tons of payload. With a much smaller payload it has a V budget in excess of 9.0 km/s, which is amazing. Could this unprecedented amount of V be used to fly between Mars and Earth even outside the launch windows enforced by the synodic period, when payload mass is not a primary factor? It could be used for emergency purposes such as medical supplies/instruments and experts, or for other high priority, but low mass cargo like critical replacements. Yes. Overall, is the landing architecture of its booster and distances needed to be covered to be same as Falcon 9's? Boost back, re-entry burn, landing burn. Could you give us nuggets on what changes the final Falcon 9 version, V1.3 you mentioned will have? Uprated engines obviously from 170k to 190k lbf, but what else? Is it mostly geared towards reusability over performance? Gwyn mentioned 2 weeks ago that F9 V1.2 will be reused only once or twice, while V1.3 should be reused up to 10 times. Can you talk about what are the limiting factors for Falcon 9 reuse? The big booster will have an easier time of things than Falcon, as the mass ratio of the stages is lower, and it will have lower density. Net result is that it won't come in quite as hot and fast as Falcon, so Falcon should be a bounding case on the big booster. Final Falcon 9 has a lot of minor refinements, that collectively are important, but uprated thrust and improved legs are the most significant. Actually, I think the F9 boosters could be used almost indefinitely, so long as there is scheduled maintenance and careful inspections. Falcon 9 Block 5, the final version in the series, is the one that has the most performance and is designed for easy reuse, so it just makes sense to focus on that long term and retire the earlier versions. Block 5 starts production in about 3 months and initial flight is in 6 to 8 months, so there isn't much point in ground testing Block 3 or 4 much beyond a few reflights. Hey lovely people, like and subscribe if you want to see more.